We have breaking news tonight in Las Vegas, where British Airways Boeing 777 burst into flames after experiencing an engine failure on takeoff. According to airport officials, the takeoff was aborted and all of the 159 passengers and 13 crew members were able to get off the plane by using emergency slides. 7 people received medical treatment for minor injuries. A spokesperson for British Airways said, "Safety is always our priority. We are looking after customers after a technical issue with the aircraft." Joining us now by phone, Dominic Worthington, who was a passenger on that plane. Mr. Worthington, where were you on the plane when this happened?
I was on the towards the front of the aircraft on the right-hand side.
And what did you experience? How did you first realize you were in trouble?
Well, the plane was on the runway, and we were travelling along at quite a speed. Obviously, in the normal, you're expecting a normal takeoff for the nose to come up, and then there was a slight jolt to one side, and then a bang, and then it was quite evident that there was something that was wrong. And obviously, the plane came to a halt pretty quick, and then the crew were with us very, very quickly, and we were instructing everybody to evacuate, and they deployed the slides, and everybody had to sort of jump off and make their way off the plane as quick as possible.
And could you see fire from where you were on the plane?
Yeah, after a few seconds after we sort of come out of our seats, we could see smoke from big black smoke and flames from the sides of the plane. It was pretty scary stuff.
And Mr. Worthington, was all of the fire on the outside of the plane? Was there any fire inside the plane?
From where I was, I couldn't see any smoke inside. But when obviously the doors were opened for evacuation, obviously there was a lot of smoke around the cabin, obviously the inside of the aircraft. So it was pretty scary. I think further back, some passengers would have probably experienced some smoke inside the plane for sure.
And how did the passengers react to this? Did you hear screaming? What was the reaction?
Some people were obviously were reacting quite scared and stuff. Other people seemed quite casual. Some people were even collecting luggage from overhead lockers, which is crazy. But yeah, so some people were just trying to get off the plane as quick as possible. Other people seemed a little bit less a little less fazed by it all. But the important thing is that everybody got off the flight with no major injuries and stuff. And to be honest with you, the captain and the crew, if it wasn't for them, there would have been some fatalities for sure.
And how about for yourself? What did you feel? Were you terrified, or did you feel this was under control?
I felt that everything was under control, and to be honest with you, the crew were dealing with things brilliantly. It sort of hit home when I'm standing at the top of the slide and they're telling you got to jump. So that's when it sort of kicks in, and you think, oh Christ, and there's smoke everywhere, and the fire engine is steaming towards you. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Dominic Worthington, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we're very glad you're safe. Up next, Robert Hager will join us on what could have gone wrong on that plane. What happened out there? We have more on the breaking news in Las Vegas. The FAA has just lifted a ground stop for incoming flights at McCarran International Airport after an engine on a British Airways plane burst into flames during takeoff. 159 passengers and 13 crew members were able to get off the plane by using the emergency slides. 7 people apparently suffered minor injuries. Joining us now, Bob Hager, an NBC News contributor. Bob, we just heard from Dominic Worthington, a passenger on the plane, saying no flame or smoke in the plane, certainly up at the front end where he was. You've seen the images here. It seems like an engine fire. What is the best reckoning at this point about what was involved here?
Yeah, that's very complicated, because normally an engine problem doesn't manifest itself the way this did, with open flame and all that smoke. But I'll tell you, the headline here is we are just so fortunate. I mean, this was a very, very close call. Imagine if that engine problem had developed seconds later, when the plane had already lifted off, and the entire crew and all the passengers could have been goners if it had happened once the plane was in the air and had to do a crash landing. And then, besides the fact that it happened on the ground and the pilot had enough room on the runway to get that plane stopped, you've got this very, very fast evacuation. I mean, it sounds like it was 5 or 6 minutes to get that plane unloaded. Imagine when a plane comes into the gate, how long it takes you to get off. So that's extremely fast, and a real credit to the flight attendants and the crew for getting that plane evacuated so soon. But we're just very, very fortunate that this wasn't much worse.
Yeah, we heard Dominic Worthington just full of gratitude for the crew in the way that they responded in getting everyone out of that airplane quickly. And what are the precautions they have to take, Bob, when they've got active flame outside the airplane and they're trying to get passengers out of the airplane?
Yeah, that's a predicament, because if the fire isn't in the plane already, you have to open the doors so the passengers can get out. Once you open the doors, you get this fresh oxygen from outside rushing in, and that can suck the flames in, make the fire, assist the fire in getting inside the plane. So it all has to be done very carefully. When the pilots shut down the engine, when they first got the sign of trouble, it's supposed to shut off the intake valves so that the fire and smoke doesn't get inside the cabin, but there's no assurance of that.
Robert Hager, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Coming up.
I'm the leading state sponsor of terrorism.